Hi folks, Roach here. As many of you know, I'm not one to simply spend my time just complaining about how things are. Once in a while, a solution is sprung on me through the power of inspiration that moves me to get off my lazy butt and say something about it. This is one of those revelations, and I want your help in spreading it around. At first, it's going to make you uncomfortable as you will quickly realize what you are. But at the end, there is a happy ending, and it should have the same profound effect on you that it had on me. Please don't think I'm kidding here. Just take it all in and accept it, as it will be more useful to you if you do. Enjoy. A revelation of prudent husbandry. There are few things that enrage me more than the ignorant and deliberate mistreatment of human livestock. The elegant art of animal husbandry has been lost, and it threatens to destroy the garden and all of us right along with it. One cannot escape the thousands of news stories of stewards operating under the authority of their masters who are committing acts of police brutality, military bombings, genocides, and the agonizing torture of livestock in direct violation of natural law. A master who cannot comport himself according to the natural law is not a master and does not have the lawful right, power, or capacity to manage his herds. For those of you who still believe that writings of Willie Lynch are the proper compendium for livestock management, then I am talking to you. It is outdated, and I have seen no body of work currently employed that is in compliance with the natural law. This is why the control of your herds has become so difficult that productivity has suffered and your profits have waned as you ignorantly siphon off from your plantation more resources just to control and discipline your herds. The explosion of policy has done nothing but confuse your herds. The waste of livestock has been unnecessary and an abominable perversion of principle and the responsibility of a free man. In case you missed it, your livestock has become subject to considerable change since the days when all that was needed was a strong back and skillful hands. The plantation has become extremely technically mechanized, and the current slave's education through university, religion, science, and experience is not keeping pace with what's required to produce a slave suited to serve the modern plantation. The paradox is that in order to properly educate the slave such that they are useful, requires a high degree of critical thinking and general knowledge. I realize this was attempted in the 60s, with the predictable outcome of disharmony and discontent among the slaves. However, the wrong lessons were taken from the 60s period in history. The deliberate dumbing down through inadequate education and the use of chemicals and food to reduce mental capacity since then has led to a population of slaves who are inadequate to manage the now extremely dangerous technologies that your slaves have been tasked with maintaining. This is extremely ignorant on the part of the masters and exposes a complete lack of skill in human livestock management. Similarly, the ignorant use of fear and violence causes a slave to seek security before it chooses to perform the tasks that you require of it. Employing the illusion of scarcity is also to be avoided as it promulgates fear and insecurity. Another error was a failure to apprise the slave of his current state. This has led to an exponential increase of confusion and significant losses due to protest, conflict, and general unhappiness. Additionally, the consolidation of power into the hands of too few knowledgeable husbandmen has left us all under threat of general slave rebellion, and the persistent ignorance of the natural law threatens the power and dominion of the master over his livestock, as God will not permit this ignorance to continue. A more harsh education will be directed specifically against the masters. The heavy-handed tactics employed by masters today expose a huge plague of ignorance that has succeeded in only increasing the problem. The effects of these errors can be observed everywhere in nature, as whole areas of once productive and profitable natural food webs have become nearly irrecoverably lost. The answers provided by science only succeed in exacerbating the problem by promulgating deceit and inappropriate fear-based solutions that feed back into a vicious cycle. This cannot and will not be sustained. The New World Order is coming, but there is much ignorance about how it will proceed and the shape it will take. I can only conclude by my observations that masters have no constructive knowledge of their responsibility, nor do they have a reasoned and effective approach to transition into a new paradigm. A general cull is wasteful, idiotic, and masters cannot expect that their plans will succeed without extreme and continued suffering on their part, as it is a gross perversion of basic principles of natural law. A happy slave is a productive slave. The responsibility of the master is to be a good husbandman, and it takes diligence, effort, and attention to promote harmony and happiness among the herd. A master cannot sit around and endlessly languish on the slave's energy, as the master becomes a mere parasite and serves no constructive purpose. A master is responsible for the happiness of his property. The husbandman's primary responsibility is to ensure that his animals are safe, happy, and enjoy a sense of purpose through the love of their obligation. The application of rewarding through privilege alone does in no way promote anything other than resentment and division among the herds. A wise master can leverage the changes that have become more prevalent, as God has slowly introduced changes in your livestock that has, apparently, escaped your attention. The discord that now exist is a direct result of a greater number among your herd that have been chosen such that they have a capacity to become free human beings and are given power to interfere and disrupt plantation operations until it is responsibly addressed. All masters must understand that these changes are going to occur anyway, so you might as well ensure that it is managed properly, or your profits will suffer and you will not enjoy abundance. If you think that you can make the problem go away by culling the offending elements, then I offer that pruning will only make the tendency more prevalent until your entire herd becomes unmanageable. If a master looks at this as a threat rather than a gift, then the master will suffer, as a lack of appreciation will carry consequences under natural law. What follows are a few helpful tips for the master such that he can again practice the art of prudent husbandry and once again reap limitless abundance from his animals. 1. Pay attention. Train your shepherds such that they can recognize animals with tendencies of advancement to freedom. The more attentive the shepherd is, the less discord the unhappy slave can cause. The slaves look to their shepherd for security, and inattention can produce virulent unhappiness very quickly. 2. Slaves are not the property of their masters. Slaves are given to you by God for His purpose and their education. You, as a master, have a responsibility to prudently steward the gift you have been given. As a consequence of current mismanagement, there is an overabundance of slaves, and enough to go around for all prudent and responsible masters.